Alrighty guys, today on the Bigfoot Researchers Journal, we're going to be taking a look at Myakka River State Park. And we're going to be finding Bigfoot in here and lots of Bigfoot tracks. And today on the journal, we're going to show you how to do that. This particular place is ground zero for this particular part of Florida. And my son has had a Class A sighting in here. I was with him. We both were together and had a Class A sighting of a juvenile that fell out of a palm tree after we walked under it and ran off using quadrupedal locomotion. We're going to go over all that stuff. But today, first I want to talk about the river basin and its value as far as finding tracks, right? We've been to this park several times, Crypto Reality, my wife and I. And this particular river basin is extremely valuable ground for tracking. A lot of times when you go to Myakka River State Park, you'll find that this river's down. And as long as there aren't 16,000 12-foot crocodilians or alligators lined up on the bank here, you can literally walk down and hike in this area. So my wife and I went down and started tracking. We actually went down on this side first and tracked this area. I found tracks. There are hominoid tracks all down on this bank. Like, you can literally walk down here and find where hominoids have been walking through here, and it's absolutely hominoids. You can find a range of different track sizes. We found them to 17 inches down in the basin here. Well, I went on this side, and there's an elevated bank right here, and there's a little trail that runs down underneath the canopy right on the edge, and it runs all the way back here. There's tracks down in this area too, but all the way along this particular area is one of those dig-out banks that we discovered they like to use. And this is one of those situations where you can see creatures in these adjacent forests. If you're a researcher, you should know that this section of forest and all of this is where my son's encounters happen. In fact, if we look at the canopy walkway and the canopy bridge, we had actually come in. I think this is it. Yeah, we came in and we're walking down this trail, and right about here, maybe 70 yards from the car or so, we found our first 16-inch track. Now that track, we could see the actual canopy down the trail, the boardwalk. You can go up on top of it and walk, and there's like a bridge in the sky. It's like a sky bridge. Really cool. But we went off trail because the track went in here. We arrived somewhere. Well, this is what it looks like. I don't know. That was like kind of an accident. But this is actually what it looked like where we found the track. That's amazing that they have this in there. But off to this side of the trail is where the encounter happened. Now, this side is where we saw the juvenile fall out of one of these palm trees. It was about 2:30 in the morning. But anyway, my son's encounter happened somewhere down in here. And it was incredible, and he wanted to report it. So we did do that. We actually went all the way back up to the front office, and we reported it right in here. Within 30 minutes of him seeing the creature, we were in the office. He was drawing a picture of it. There are plenty of sightings. There's one that really got me interested in this particular region is the account on the BFR about the two guys who rented the canoe from Upper Myakka, the outpost up here. They rented a canoe, and you can do that. And then they paddled all the way down the river into the lower lake, at which point the sun went down, and they were freaking out because there were huge alligators everywhere. And when the sun went down, they beached the canoe and decided to walk out because with all the gators, they were really frightened about being in the canoe. Hundreds of gators down here. This is, if you want to film alligators, buddy, this is the spot in Florida right here. Lower Myakka Lake has probably over 60 or 70 alligators over 12 feet. Some of them are enormous. You get down in here, you can shoot some alligators. But those guys tried to walk out, and as they were walking out, a group of hominoids began to parallel them. Now, according to the report, and you can read it on the BFRO, they were trailed and rocks were thrown all the way back out to the road, at which point game wardens were already looking for them. They hadn't returned the canoe to the outpost yet, so the game wardens were down in this area because they'd had eyewitnesses say that they were coming down this way. So when they came out of the woods, one of the first things they said was, there's something in here throwing rocks and following us. That was reported to the wardens. It says that, like on the BFRO. So that piqued my interest. That's a more aggressive situation where the creatures are escorting you out of their habitat. That's the kind of stuff that drew my attention to this area. We were there one day. My son had that sighting, and then that night we saw the one fall out of the tree. This particular section that is around this canopy bridge is off the chain. When you get into this particular area, you'll see. It's here. I'm going to actually click on a couple of pictures here so we can take a look. And there's 2,082 pictures of Myakka in here, man. I mean, this is like, this is the canopy bridge here. So you're up 40 so feet off the ground walking, and it's great for shooting. But there have been sightings right at this bridge. The right-hand side of this bridge is where people need to be researching. There are creatures all through this particular area. Now, going back to other research that we've conducted in here, Melanie and I have hiked all through this particular region, and one of the best ways to do it is on the power line trail, right? And so what we did was we noticed that we were picking up tracks in this particular area along the power line trail, and we had some activity back in here when we hiked this area around dusk. We went all the way to the very back here, and we were all in this particular area checking out this whole field. And this is excellent tracking around every one of these ponds. But this particular section of forest right here is ground zero. And especially around this trail, there are Sasquatch all around this trail. In this particular area, you can find the creatures. In this particular area, you can find the creatures. In this particular area, you can find the creatures. In this particular area, guess what? You can find the creatures. It's more about, are you aware enough? Do you have the awareness to understand that you're not going to be looking for a 10-foot Sasquatch? They're hiding from you. If they don't want you there, believe me, they'll let you know. I've pointed people in the right direction, and within 15 minutes of taking my directions on cell phone, they had trees thrown at them. By following the directions of where I'm saying you should hike. Trees, and she caught the creature on film. I've put that out before. Good job, Deb. But just looking at this place is ground zero, man. And then you start getting into these deeper sections back in this area, and I've been charged by hogs in this particular part of the area, and it is highly active. We were at one point driving along this road here, and I was looking for a place in this section specifically to pull over and fish this corner because it looked real good. I mean, I thought, man, there's got to be some huge bass in there. But we heard the loudest screams from across this road right here. At which point, it was so loud, we were down here on the bank, where we could go. We didn't want to get too far out because it starts to get real mushy and muddy. But we were down here. We could hear it from all the way over in here. It was so loud, it was going through us, to the extent that I literally looked at my partner and said, run. And we ran back to the car and got in and drove off, because whatever this was it sounded like a dinosaur. It sounded like a dinosaur. So this is like, the first time I ever been there, and I'm hearing this and like literally yelling, run, right? So we get in the car, we're driving down this way, and I pull over again, thinking, look at these places to fish, and you're significant ways down the road here, and you don't think that anything's going to happen. We get out and start coming down here to fish, and we hear it again. This time it's even with us again, as though this thing came down here with us. Pigs were running out of the forest here, and we heard one of them being killed. This was like the first time I ever went to this place. This section of forest is occupied territory and worth the research, right? Take your time, spend a week here, and pick this section apart with 15 different hikes. Going through here, I guarantee you come out with a track record. you're going to have multiple tracks. You may have a sighting. You can definitely catch them on film if you understand how to shoot stable footage and you have our information. They're in there. So this place is probably, as I stated, man, the most valuable research area on the West Coast here. And again, we're just east of Tampa, of Sarasota. And so you look at what's going on. You got plenty of roads to get there. We're looking at Highway 72 going to the entrance of Myakka. This south end, my son and I did a 16-mile hike. It was a little over that. It was 8.5 out and 8.5 back. We got down to this watershed. We were in this particular area right here when we started hearing things coming through the woods, and at which point we basically decided we were going to leave. So we've discovered that there's stuff going on all in this entire Myakka watershed. You've got the upper Myakka Lake, the Myakka River, and then you've got the lower Myakka Lake. And then the watersheds in the surrounding areas are occupied territory. Excellent research. It's like I said, it's more about, can you slow down and allow yourself to stretch out in the environment and begin to use your camera in that respect. Because if you can catch these creatures on film there. Thanks for watching today. Be sure to subscribe and like our videos. If you have any requests for areas you'd like me to break down, email me at cryptoreality.us@gmail.com. Have a great weekend, guys. That's your research spot update from Crypto Reality, Saturday, January 20th. Myakka River State Park.